Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to my shack down by the creek. Okay, so this is my home in Oklahoma. I have walls, so I can actually put up family photos and whatnot there, so you can see my mom and dad in some of these pictures. But at any rate, yeah, welcome to my home. Let's talk about pistol versus bear spray in today's Civil War update. Don't. I'm going to start doing that every time for Civil War update. Don't. Because it's like one of those old, radio serials or soap operas. You just never know what to expect next. So what we have in recent news is the second instance of a Trump supporter being shot by a leftist, and the Trump supporter using bear spray to defend himself only to get shot by a handgun. So we're going to call this bear spray versus pistol. You decide. As for me in my house, my bear spray's gone bye-bye. Less than lethal is now taken off the table tactically for me, and I'll explain to you why that is. Now, whether this is a plot by the leftists, and we need coffee for the coffee talk, or or this is just how it is these days. But it could be a plot. I will say this: we've got two clear-cut cases of unarmed Trump supporters being shot by leftist activists. Okay, one a few weeks ago in Portland. We've all talked about that already, and the most recent one in Denver, where a bodyguard and a leftist activist, an antagonist. This bodyguard worked for the local affiliate news station. So whether he was there working or whether he was there on personal antagonistic business, instigating problems and going after Trump supporters, whether that was just coincidental or whether that was his regular planned activity for that day is yet to be determined, to my satisfaction. But nonetheless, this armed individual with a pretty tricked out gun. I got to say, in most self-defense carry situations, you don't see a guy with a red dot and a flashlight and a concealed holster that fits the red dot and the flashlight. I mean, you take a decent gun and then that's stacking about $600 worth of custom features onto a firearm. So he had a tricked out race gun potentially there. And, you don't see the police when they pull their handguns out, they don't have red dots on their handguns. Military, potentially special forces, that kind of thing. I'm sure. I don't use them, but I thought about it. It's just a big expense, and I have to reteach myself to shoot. And I'm still deadly with iron sights. Don't let the old eyes fool you. But at any rate, in these scenarios, both of these scenarios, you got a situation where you've got imagery of bear spray versus pistol. So, whether this is their tactic is to have a concealed handgun, antagonize Trump supporters until the Trump supporter feels physically threatened and draw some kind of weapon, whether it be bear spray or whatever, what have you, taser. And then for them to go, okay, that's what I was waiting for. Bam, you're dead. Because it's happened twice now. Twice now, we've had a leftist activist draw a gun on an unarmed Trump supporter armed only with bear spray or pepper spray, OC spray, an irritant to the eyes and nose. I mean, I've seen people, especially people with high pain thresholds, get pepper sprayed and it don't start to bother them until like 3 or 4 minutes later. Like they got 3 or 4 minutes to beat the crap out of you or kill you or whatever before the bear spray even kicks in. So I've decided for me in my house, I didn't believe in bear spray. I was always a gun and knife guy, gun, knife, stick. That's my thing. But then with these riots and stuff, I saw bear spray being used so much and sometimes effectively against a crowd. And I mean, it reminds me of a story. I was pretty well known amongst all my friends, even when I was young, for being a tough guy with a gun. And if you got in trouble, you'll call Sage. Sage will bail you out, right? He'll fix you up. He'll get you out of there. He'll do what it takes. And so sometimes I would get phone calls in the middle of the night, And this particular night, I got a phone call from a very close friend, a member of my band, who's like, "Hey, Sage, you got to get down here now. My car broke down, and I'm in a really bad neighborhood." And I'm like, "Man, Kenny, why are you in a bad neighborhood?" He goes, "Look, it doesn't matter. I'm here. My car's broke down, and there's a bunch of people over there looking at me like I'm food." So I jump in the car, make the 25-minute drive down into the hood and pick my friend up, right? He's still alive when I get there. When he gets in, I got to move like a 6-foot bow staff out of the seat for him to sit down in the truck. I got to move it over. And he goes, "Why'd you bring a stick? I thought you had a gun." And I showed him the pistol. And I said, "I'd hate to shoot somebody when just kicking their butt would work." And I showed him the stick, you know. So that's my idea of less than lethal, is a blunt object. I'm a fairly decent stick fighter, even in my old age. I'll hit you when you don't, and you won't see it coming. But pepper spray, you know, apparently less than lethal is excuse now to get you killed with these leftists. So I personally will not be drawing a pepper spray or a stick or a knife for a first encounter. I'm just going to stick to my handgun retention, black belt level hand skills, okay, to keep you off of me and off of my weapon. And I'm going to go about healed with a firearm concealed all the time, and rely on the many years of drawing from concealment practice I got in the International Defensive Pistol Association, IDPA matches that I played for years and years. Placed many times on state matches in Texas, and was a local. Well, I founded the biggest IDPA club in North Texas, co-founded it. But at any rate, yeah, this deal of pulling pepper spray out is going to get you killed. Apparently, it's happened twice now, and so you know me, I'm the one to call out what I see as trends. And so if you, in your mindset, think I'm going to pull out a can of pepper spray, even though I have a pistol, I'm going to pull out pepper spray instead against a seemingly unarmed opponent, know that you may have to transition to your concealed handgun immediately to answer a concealed handgun threat. Because it looks like you draw, it's like the worst game of rock, paper, scissors ever. It's like rock, paper, scissors, death. You know? Pepper spray, pistol, knife, death. And so if you come out with this pepper spray, chances are they're going to shoot you. And, you know, you expect a bad guy like a person who's trying to rob you or dominate you to come out with a pistol first so you know what you're dealing with, right? But to come at you barehanded, like they want to fight, and then when you go, "I don't think I'll fight you, you're younger and stronger," and come out with your pepper spray, deterrent, and then they shoot you. I mean, it's just like the worst checker game ever. It's like they've changed the rules to suit them. Now, this guy in Denver, they got him. They got him down on the concrete and put cuffs on him. The guy in Portland died in a shootout with the feds over the incidents. He was not going to be taken alive, so he was taken out in a gunfight. But this guy allowed himself to be arrested by the Denver folks there, and they got him locked up. So let's see whether the judge buys his rock, paper, scissors, death game, or whether the judge and jury looks at this for what it is: cold-blooded murder. You cannot answer pepper spray with a shot to the chest. And but based on these two incidences, I will never again carry pepper spray. I'll see it as a backup to my backup to my backup. It's although that shouldn't be the way things go. Your backup to your pistol should be your rifle. Clint Smith once said, "This is my primary handgun. If my primary handgun craps out on me, my backup better roll out on wheels and be air cooled and be like, two barrels, do. That's what your backup ought to be. If your main gun dies on you, you're up the creek." But the common theory is that, you know, big to small, this is my big handgun, this is my backup, this is my knife, this is my pepper spray. And that's how I'm going to see it. And I'm never going to see pepper spray instead of pistol. If I need to pepper spray you and I'm in fear of my life and you're bigger, stronger, tougher, and you're trying to hurt me, I'm just going to wait till you're hurting me and then I'm going to shoot you. Kind of like a guy did in a pawn shop in one of these. We had a guy who was defending a pawn shop or business, and he got jumped on by 2 or 3 guys. And after one guy saw the gun and split, another guy saw the gun and didn't care, jumped on this guy's back trying to choke him out, and he ended up shooting him in the clavicle over his shoulder and killing him. But we'll see how that plays out too. I think he was charged. You know, it depends on where you do this. In Oklahoma, it's a stand your ground state. If I feel threatened, I can just shoot you. So don't go around threatening people in Oklahoma. You know, that's just the bottom line. I don't have to run. I don't have to, be convinced. You know, I just have to have a reasonable belief that my life's in danger. And then I have the right to terminate you on the spot. And, of course, the longer I let you beat on me before I do that, the better it looks. But also the more dangerous it is that you could get a hold of my handgun or hurt me beyond being able to heal from it. So, yeah, I think it made, the older I get, the meaner I get. When I was young, I'd roll around on the gravel with you and tussle. And I will admit to going hand to hand with a man half my age just recently as about a year ago. But yeah, I won't, I don't think I'll do that anymore. And I don't think I'm going to play games with people, because playing games apparently gets you shot in Denver and Portland when you're dealing with these leftists. So tell me what you think in the comment section. Do you think the guy was justified in shooting the other person who drew the pepper spray? Have you seen the video? Who really drew first? Does it really matter when you have pepper spray? I think that, knowing what I know about the laws in Denver, they're not as lefty as you think when it comes to self-defense, because the eastern half of Colorado is pretty strong, real strong Second Amendment militia types out that way. And there's a civil war brewing, just like there is in the West Coast states in Denver, between the folks who live along the Front Range and the mountains, and the folks who live out in the plains towards Kansas and out that way. So at any rate, we'll wait and see whether a judge thinks this was justified, and more information will come out. But it is forever, these two incidences has forever changed the way I feel about canister sprays and their usefulness when you're dealing with Civil War combatants who are looking for an excuse to shoot you. So, of course, the best way to stay out of that is just stay out of it and wait till it comes to your neighborhood, and then deal with it in a over-the-top, unbelievable way. How's that? So just wait for it to come to you. Don't go to it. I'm not going to these protests anymore. I've been to them. I'm not going there anymore. I'm not changing anybody's minds by going there. I went there last time in Portland to show them I wasn't afraid of them. But, if you go tangle in this mess, you're liable to get some on you. And you may end up dead like a couple of these guys did, because they underestimated the ruthlessness of their opponents, and they were suckered into a fool's game. So no more less than lethal for me. It's peace or death. That's my choices. It's not rock, paper, scissors, death. It's just life or death is in your tongue and in your decisions and what you do when you're concerning me. And if we keep it friendly, then everything's good. All right, we'll talk to you next time from down by the creek. It's Sage Wanderer. God save our republic.